Okay, so
Yeah.
I was playing Olliolli World. It is a mellow skateboarding game on everything. I'm playing it on Switch. But it's out there. They seem to have a good publisher because boy am I aware of it. In fact, like it popped up on my like my Switch store, and I was like, you know what it did is that it was so clearly well-funded promotion that my brain filtered it out as bullshit. And then I went back and said, no, wait a minute, that actually might be a real video game. It's a real video game. It's a good game. It is 2D. You skate and you do some tricks and you do some lines and you're exploring a skate world. And it's got this little mythology to it. It's actually really adorable. It's got a really strong art style. It's got a really strong aesthetic. It's really just good old, plain old, relax, have fun, do a skate. And yeah, just kind of fun to just pick up. One thing about it is it has a character creator, and it did a thing that I'm kind of surprised I don't see more often, but it was excellent, and I kind of wish it did. I wish more things did it. You create a character, you pick your skin tone in your hair, you pick your clothes, you pick your style. You have like a little shape and size sliders. You know what you don't pick? Gender. There's no data field for it. You don't identify it. You don't have to enter what your gender is. The shape slider is from masculine to feminine, and you just kind of pick where on that slider you want to be. It's like right there. I made a lady character because ladies are pretty. And I gave her like a green hat and cargo pants. You don't have to pick your gender. The game doesn't care. You could be whatever.
Nice.
And boy, is that a great way to do it. Because we've got a lot of friends that are
don't fall into the binary.
Yeah, and this is like, well, you just don't even need to pick. You don't even. It's not even a checkbox on the list. It's just don't worry. But yeah, no. Who are you? You're a skater. In fact, you're the skater.
And this is one of those things with video games in general. Is just like a lot of times coding gender in seems like more work than just leaving it out.
Even more than that, like when you have relationships. Coding the relationships to be heteronormative is way more work than just letting you date whoever you want to date. Way more work.
Yeah.
So just skip it. Just don't do that work. And it's kind of great. So, like, the actual... what were you saying?
Oh, I remember in particular, I think it was a Nintendo game where they said, oh, we just don't want to, have an opinion on that conversation. Like, you had an opinion by doing the more complicated thing.
You put more work into it to avoid... You put excessive work into it to avoid the conversation.
Yeah.
In fact, like, the amount of work you put into it caused the conversation.
Yep.
So, here is to targeted developer and designer laziness. And just like, wow, what if you didn't even need to say male or female? What if it's just not... Because what's actually happening in the story is you're on an island that was literally created by literally the skate gods.
Nice.
And they...
Must be cousins to the t-shirt gods from TKO.
I would not be... That is a fucking great idea. That is, oh my god, it's probably in the same archipelago or archipelago.
Go on.
Archipelagio. Yes. I literally don't know how to say that word.
It's archipelago.
Archipelago? Okay, great.
Yeah, unless I'm wrong, in which case that's really embarrassing because I made
it's fun.
fun of
Don't worry, I covered all the bases. Something I said was less wrong than the others. No, I like that. And so there were like 5 gods of skate, and there is actually an avatar of skate, and the skate avatar is actually your reset mechanic, where she's smoking she expresses female, so I'll use she. She's smoking a bubble pipe, and when you crash and go splat, she just bubbles you back to the start. So you just like Meat Boy, it's Super Meat Boy, you just instantly back to the start if you fuck up. Fucking great. And And you are the goal of the game is to be the next skate god avatar.
Mm-hmm. I am reminded. Sorry, I want to keep talking about the whole like putting more work in to avoid the conversation that you have made happen.
Yes, please.
It's anachronistic 10, and I've had this conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
There is a non-binary character in anachronistic 10, and I still there's some wording to get it right, but there's a very clear conversation I had with both Fable and Cassie is that like while there is a non-binary character, it's not like episode 6 where like there was homophobia and I wanted the conversation. There needed to be a conversation about that. That episode needed that.
Yeah.
However,
I played the character that caused the conversation.
Yes, and you play the character that's causing the conversation in this one too.
I'm here for this. I'm doing my job.
I know, but like that's not what this episode is about. Yes, there's a non-binary character. Yes, part of that is representation, but also like I'm not gonna lie, if this character does get a voice, it's Fable. Fable's always been the person I have in mind for this character.
Yeah.
And like I want to acknowledge that there's a non-binary character, but this episode isn't about some like moral treaty on why the gender binary is bad.
We don't have time.
Yeah, I do not have time, and this even if I did, this isn't the episode for it. That's not what this episode's about.
And so like Kyle has actually talked to me because my character is like was the catalyst for like a conversation about homophobia, and so like in character, my character is going to have like say they or whatever, and it's just like there's no time for commentary on it, and like the most that will get in there is that my character will stress the word they in a weird way, and even that might be too much. So like there's no time. We've got shit to do. And honestly, it's still in character because my character, asshole though he may be, also
is very pragmatic.
Exactly. And so I'm confident that like when we get to the mic, do the recordings, we'll either put something in there or nothing in there, and I think like I will like Lawrence will be in character, and I'm not worried about it. But it's an interesting sort of like puzzle where we want to be consistent with the characters and we want the asshole to be the asshole, but there's no fucking time. There's shit to do.
Because there's like, and there's things I think about this is like, so I want to talk about, man, there's only so much I can talk about in this because like talking about the non-binary character gets into like season finale stuff too. But like
summarize because we're coming up. We're past 8, so
yeah. Oh, point is, in the original script, this character was male, and I was thinking, I'm like, why does this character have to be male? And I interrogated those reasons, and I realized the story becomes more interesting if they're not male anymore. And so I changed it, and I think a lot about like hollow representation, like things that just put in representation because they think it'll hit a demographic or check a box, and that's not what I want this to be.
I think you're fine. I think you're great actually, because there's a thing where I think like it like started to hit me as hollow representation, and then it hit me even harder as not, which is a video game that you and I both love, which is Iconfell. It became where so many of the characters were some form of LGBTQI, etc., that it's like, wait, okay, everyone is, that's a little bit pushing it. And then it like, as soon as I felt like it was pushing it, like the game really kind of leaned in. I don't know what it was, but it just felt like, no, it's just coincidence that these characters all kind of like pulled together. And then a few of my LGBTQI, etc. friends said, no, that just happens.
Yeah.
Where folks that are, on that particular,
Spectrum find each other.
alphabet, do tend to just kind of gravitate towards each other. And so like this band of friends just happened to be that sort of scenario. And it's and the reason why it wasn't that big of an issue is because it wasn't the point. The point was still the plot, but like the characters themselves were this cluster of non-binary, except LGBTQI, and they were nice characters doing the quest.
I also find it like I think I had a similar moment. So fun fact, I played through I Can Fell on YouTube with Fable, and like the start of that playthrough, Fable identified as male, and by the end of that playthrough, Fable identified as non-binary. And I definitely think there is
I think that's for
a
Fable
little
to
bit
say,
of causation. No,
yeah, all right, yeah.
Yeah, we talk about it on the Let's Play, is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
And
there was something. I also like that. I'm going to speak in a general sense, where it's just like when there's something about yourself that you've never been able to put your finger on, and then a work of art just makes you say, "Oh, oh," and something inside you opens up and has like context that you didn't have before, and you have vocabulary that was missing. And so that's kind of the power of inclusivity in art, is that number one, people that are of the majority can look at that and say, oh, this minority is also a person and interesting and wonderful. And people who like are in a minority can find like any number of feelings by having a increasing diversity of characters to identify with or not identify with. And so just mix it up a little.
Yeah. There was, so
the more you mix it up, the better.
One thing I was getting to, though, is a particular moment in me where the character who I had kind of assumed was the token straight male.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm a he, him, non-binary. And I'm just like, fuck! And then I kind of got the whole message of the whole thing.
So that came out after I had my moment of, well, everyone is something? Oh, no, I guess these are just kids that happen to gravitate to it. And then the he, him, non-binary happened. I was like, well, that's why you can wear the dress armor. Because the all the clothing items are armor with buttons and stats, and they're pretty like mostly feminine coded, kind of some male coded, but I mean like every character can wear every piece of clothing, and the sort of like male expressing non-binary character could totally wear a dress because fuck it. But yeah, but this brings it back to, hey, I put a non-binary character in my story. Yeah, just do it. Do it respectfully, do it cool, make it the character, don't make it the point, don't dwell on the issue. Just, that's just a thing about the character. And there's another piece of diversity out there in fiction lexicon, and maybe it's just a character and it means nothing, or maybe someone will really resonate with it and be like, yeah, that I needed that character to resonate with, because there aren't a lot of characters like me to resonate with. What's up, Tia Maria?
Yeah, we'll need
on the opposite of that. Yeah, what's up?
Oh yeah. On the opposite of that, she, her, non-binary being a thing.
All right, let's so Tia, is typing something up, so we're gonna give them a second. I'm gonna set up some Kickstarters to talk about while that's
Sounds good.
Yeah, Tia, what's on your mind? Tell us what's up. And I'm gonna get some Kickstarters ready. Oh, just a new idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I've heard of and thought about myself. Not where I came to on my conclusion as far as the he, him, non-binary, but it's something I've thought about.
Because I really like that, because it's like I grew up in a world where gay was just a checkbox, and that was an end of a story.
Mhm.
And again, like, growing up in rural Virginia, that's bad unless it's what you are. Follow me here, is that if you're straight, don't be gay. But if you're gay, that's fine. That you are that checkbox. But if you're straight, be straight though. And it's this hard line. And so, the expansion of the lexicon and my travels from rural Virginia to artistic Seattle. Boy, are there so much like blending in that rainbow that it's, we were getting into identity. Oh my God, it ain't one thing or the other. There aren't buckets. There's just the spread. It's there's so many little tiny nuances to like identifying yourself. And I have always, this is one of the things that gives me great comfort, is that if I believe the meaning of life is to define yourself, I think like what are we doing on this earth if not figuring out who I am, and figuring out who is me is the internal struggle. But then the external struggle is, okay, I know who I am. How do I be me, with other people, because we're a social species? So this expanding of the lexicon, this blending of the buckets, the like, not, it's not like specific colors of the rainbow. It's this blend of chromatic beauty that is all the things a person can be. Evans and Indiana be shit. So is rural Virginia in many ways. Yeah, there's a lot of things you're allowed to be, and you don't have to fit into a bucket, turns out. It's really nice, and I appreciate that. You want to talk about some Kickstarters?
Yeah, I think it's about